Magic started your addiction. It can help you manage it. That was really hard for me to do that. Hey, thanks for watching. I'm author K.N. Robertson of Exposing Lesser Demons. And in this episode of Writing with Robbie, I finally come clean about the contents of my debut novella and the bonus chapter. This is not an easy story to summarize. Let's start with that. There, like I said, so much happens. I try to keep the story narrowed down to only a few days, only a few people. So I try to give it a simple setting and keep it as simple as possible. I actually got a lot of critiques that it was very easy to follow. So that's good because I didn't show it to that many people. They were like, wow, so much happens. But, you know, they were still like the way that one of the first compliments that I actually got was my ability to link the scenes in a way where you can really easily come back. Like if I switch from one setting to another, you can easily remember where you left off in this other place or with this other character. And then one of the most recent critiques I got was that it was actually very well detailed. Like it was almost as if everything that I say, like every word, like the word choice that I used in writing this book, is very descriptive in a way where it's specific and simple as well, which was an exercise that I worked on. I learned a lot when I read Story by Robert McKee, and it was one of his bits of advice to make sure that any sentence, any word of dialogue, any scene, any chapter, everything in your story, every detail should add to the plot or the reader or the viewer's understanding of said plot. I don't remember the exact quote, but it was something like that. So I try to make sure that there were no words within this book, especially that weren't necessary. I'm really excited to share more from this world with you. I don't know if you've been watching all of my videos. If you haven't, you should. But I've talked in part about how this wasn't even a book that I knew I was going to write. But I knew it was that this character right here, our main character, Deanna, had a story to tell. So this was her sort of backstory, and it ended up, and of course, if you watch my videos, you'll know the longer version, but it ended up being in a way where it was the perfect start to this series that I already knew I wanted to do. So you're going to get a lot of information in here that would not have probably been in here if I tried to write this first, not knowing, you know, like if I knew that I was going to write her story, I might not have known all the information that I knew by... It's hard to explain, but basically the main character of this series is not even in this book, but my characters are all so very well rounded that now this person gets to be a main character of their own story, of her own story. And I have a series now where I wanted to focus on these people at certain moments, and now I get to do that with certain books. So this is Deanna's book, her story, and she is the perfect person to introduce this series. And by the time I put out the next book, I will be nicknaming this series something else. I will be talking about it as a certain type of series. But for now, I think I just want to focus on Deanna. That's what this is about, and people love her. They love her story, and they love her story with this other main character. So let's get into that. So what makes this such a hard story to summarize is that we get to know so many of the characters so well in this short story, and they each experience so much. Even the side characters are so vividly described without taking up a lot of space as far as how many lines they take up. So we start off with our main character, Deanna, explaining to her psychiatrist why on earth she would think it's okay to go on, I don't even want to say a date, to go to dinner with her abusive ex-boyfriend, Laz. Not only was he abusive, but he introduced her to drugs that they both became addicted to. But at the time of the first chapter, Deanna is clean and sober, and she believes that Laz is as well. The psychiatrist doesn't believe that it's safe for Deanna to see him even if he is sober, but Deanna reminds the doctor that really nothing is safe anymore. Not only are different people discovering that they have magical powers every day, but a former prescription drug has been recalled due to a side effect. It's now sold illegally on the streets as a potential mind control substance. So Deanna's reason for going to see her ex-boyfriend is to make amends for something she did wrong in her mind in their relationship in the past. But she's also tempted to sleep with him because she hasn't been with anybody since she rebounded from him. And when I say she rebounded, I mean she rebounded hard. She met a beautiful non-binary individual named Parker, and they kind of swept her off her feet, and she got a sort of hero syndrome. And again, this is all in her past. So that's basically chapter 1, and I'm going to put a link in the description where you can read chapter 1 for free and get your copy of Exposing Lesser Demons today. And don't forget to leave a review. So if you want to pause now and go read chapter 1, you can do that. Otherwise, keep listening. I'm going to go ahead and give more details for the rest of the book without spoiling. So yeah, wish me luck on that. What I forgot to mention is that the doctor also asked Deanna, you know, does she think maybe Laz may have been one of those people who have recently discovered magical ability? Because the doctor's now worried, is it more dangerous for her to see him than ever? Deanna is unsure if he has any powers, but if you read the back of the book or the top of the very next chapter, you know that he does actually have a power, and it's a big one. But you definitely won't know unless you read the whole book just how powerful he is. And arguably, you still don't really know, but like you have a really good idea by the time you get to the end of the book. For a couple of chapters, we follow Laz and watch him get into some magical mayhem and struggle with sobriety. And that's all before we see them meet again face to face for the first time in over a year. I can't exactly say how, but Laz unintentionally sets things in motion that end up getting basically every character in the book in some sort of trouble, ranging from magical pranks to a potential war. And Deanna somehow runs into the other ex who might have a power, but they definitely have more information than seemingly everybody. Parker wants to help keep Deanna out of danger. Through them, we learn more about Deanna's magical past and the magic system that makes up this world. Both of Deanna's exes, Parker and Laz, both seem to have more of a knowledge of magic and magic systems than Deanna does. And Deanna's a news junkie, so she kind of she would know what the general public would know. So that's what you see very early on in this book. So I'm still not spoiling anything crazy. There's so much I'm not telling you about, like so much. But I'm definitely trying to give you an idea of what the story is about. So I'm hoping I'm doing good. I'm hoping you're following. I'm going to pop some things up on the screen that will give you a better understanding. I probably already have. So if you're not looking at the screen, you might want to go back. No pressure. But yeah, so let's keep going. As much as Laz and Parker both know about magic, we still see them learn more throughout the story, both of them separately and individually in their own journeys. Both of them, but especially Parker, masquerades as a side character who is gradually and slowly built up throughout the story to have more of a forefront, more of a major role in the story is what I'll say. Which brings me to the end of the story. By now we know what Deanna did wrong in the past toward Laz. We also know more about her than she does by the time the end of the story comes out. We know how Laz reacts to what he's learned about her, as well as how Parker feels seeing her in a new light. So we're gonna call it an ironic ending. But the epilogue is kind of long and it's an adventure on its own. So it stands alone well, but it also makes for like the perfect bridge between ELD and the next story, which I'm already basically done outlining. I know what happens beginning, middle, and end. It's just not in order yet. So that's what I want to start soon, putting that in order and then doing my draft that no one will see before I make the draft that I will send out to critique partners and beta readers. And I'm thinking about doing some arcs as well, but the only way to get an arc for sure is to have already read Exposing Lesser Demons. So there's still time to get a part of that as I figure out how I want to set it up. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put a link in the description for my website, which is knrobertson.com, and you can subscribe to my emailing list for free. I'm not saying that I will definitely give everyone who signs up a free arc of the next book, but I will say that those people will get the email to know how to get a free arc to Exposing Lesser Demons. I mean, to the sequel to Exposing Lesser Demons. So read the first book, sign up for my emailing list, and then, you know, I'll let you know what to do from there. I intend for the epilogue to be a chapter in the next book as well, and that should give you an idea as to how long the next book is going to be compared to Exposing Lesser Demons. Someone recently read the epilogue and told me that I could have put a lot of filler in there and made it an entire book of its own, but even though I know that, I didn't want to do that because I was like, I don't want to give a lot of filler when I know how long. Like, I can do this in probably 4 books, but if I give you filler, I could probably make it like 16 books. Next couple of books are going to be much bigger than this one. I'm thinking going to be like 400 plus pages. Ooh, I'm tired. Look at this. I'm tired just thinking about it. Ugh. But I'm also excited. I'm excited because this is my life. So go ahead, read this one. Tell me what you think. This is my debut novella. This is the only thing I've ever published, but like literally I came up with this cover concept, the title, which I'm not in love with, but like once you read it, I think you'll know like this is the right title. You know what I mean? And then once you read the whole series, you'll really know how good this title and subtitle are, because I've been thinking that far ahead with this. So yeah. And I don't know, I came up with the synopsis with this. I asked them to do this. I came up with this logo. I did my own website. I did my own, like, I'm the photographer and the model for this picture. I'm just tired. So just buy this book. Read it, review it. I already know you're gonna love it, but if you don't, let's talk about it, because I want to improve, because I've got 3 more books to write for this series. And that's one thing I know. I don't care how you feel about the wording or what I wrote specifically. There's no way you're gonna read this book and tell me that this isn't creative and original content that really blew your mind. It's not gonna happen. And I mean, that's pretty prideful to say. I could absolutely be wrong. I'm aware of that, because I probably haven't read that many books in my life. I don't know. But I wrote one, and I wrote my ass off, in my opinion. And it wasn't just me. You know what I mean? You know, it was the homie upstairs, the creator of everything. So I'm just saying, you tell me. So if you like this video, and I want you to comment TBR if you intend to read this book at some point. And then I want you to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because I want you to observe the journey, or at least be able to get notified so you know that I am continuing the journey to writing the sequel to this book. So that's what this channel is about. It's about writing the book. You know, and definitely comment if you have some questions about any aspects that I did, or if you're curious about some of the things that I did. Because like I said, I did everything. Like, the only thing I didn't do, okay, I can't say I didn't draw this cover, because I drew this out several times, but I did not, this final drawing is not of my work. Like, I did not do that. I put the artist's name in there, and it's just by luck that their name starts with a K as well. But yeah, so I worked real hard on it and came up with these color schemes and everything. Like, I was like, I want this side of the color wheel, and I want this, and you know what I mean? Like, a lot. I even had to be like, no, do the hair like this. It was tough. It was tough, but I did it. And if you want to know how I did it, you should ask me specifically what aspects of this you're curious about, and I may do videos on them. I definitely want to do a video talking about my cover art experience, because that was quite the experience. But the person who I chose, I'm really happy that I went with them. I'm happy to have worked with them, and that they were willing to work with my type A self. So there's that. Get into it. I'm trying to tell you, this is the tea. It's magic and tea, okay? Okay? Do you understand? It's magic and it's tea. So you want to read this book, because not only is the tea juicy enough without the magic, but there's magic with the tea. What else do you need? There's black people. Hello? What else do you need? What else do you need? Stop what you're doing. Go read the first chapter and just know that I've told you nothing. So you want to get into it. You want to get ahead of this trend because it's going to be huge. Let me be famous before I die, okay? Give me my flowers while I'm still here, please and thank you. And encourage me to write those other books because I'm ready to start today. But, you know, as hard as I worked, I'm like, well, you know, we sold some copies and I'm very grateful, but people still don't know about this book and they need to know about it. There is an individual in your life who embodies the black girl magic and they need to know about this book. And when I say girl, I mean literally gender non-specific girl because everybody is girl. You know what I mean? So you need to tell your girl, you need to get with exposing lesser demons. And that's another thing. I worked hard on this title. The title doesn't even matter. You don't even need, okay, I was going to say, the titles, they matter and they don't matter. I tried to make the titles a little treat of their own. They're doing something that is, chapter 1 is not into temptation, but you see what I'm saying? You don't even know. You don't even know. That's just chapter 1. My favorite chapter title. Not my favorite chapter title. My favorite chapter is entitled My Portion Forever. Yeah. My Portion Forever. My portion. My portion forever. You need to read this book and then you need to tell me what you think about this book. So be that your Amazon reviews. If you want to get at me on my socials, all my names are Peace Love Robbie. So if you're TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, or Instagram, Peace Love Robbie, or Cash App, you can let me know, but you can't DM me on Cash App. That would be weird. But you can DM me on those other sites and let me know what you think. You can get over at me at my website, knrobertson.com, and let me know what you think right there, as well as getting yourself in the pool of people who will likely get the ARC for the sequel. So you definitely want to do that. Check out those links in the descriptions and get at me on those other socials. Thank you for watching. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Please come back, stick around, because I'm going to do more videos and I want to know what you want to see. I want to know what you like that I've already done so I can do more of it because I'm super excited. But otherwise, I'm just going to keep reading. You already know this should be one of the next videos that I'm doing. But I have so many other things that I want to do. So just keep looking for me. Hit that notification bell and peace. Ex/friend/covenmate, and you don't think that's 1/ too many.